Once upon a time, in the twin kingdoms of Solara and Lunaris, lived two princesses, Elara and Seraphina. Though they were cousins, they shared a bond stronger than sisters. However, their beauty was shadowed by a heavy, unfortunate curse on their wedding day. Their kingdoms were destined to crumble into dust. To save their people, the princesses had spent their lives in isolation, locked behind the high marble walls of the Silver Tower, forbidden from ever knowing love. The unlikely visitors. One moonlit evening, a shimmering light fluttered through the tower window. It was Pip, a tiny, glowing wood fairy with wings like stained glass. Pip didn't bring gold or jewels. She brought a message of hope. "True sacrifice is not hiding your heart," Pip squeaked, her voice like ringing bells. "It is finding the courage to change the stars." Following Pip was Prince Julian, a man who had spent years searching for the lost princesses. He didn't come to conquer. He came because he had seen the sadness in the tower from afar and felt his own heart break for them. A test of love and family. The story took an emotional turn when the king and queen, the princesses' parents, confronted them. The royal parents were paralyzed by fear, believing that keeping their daughters unfortunate and alone was the only way to protect the world. The conflict. The parents chose safety over their children's happiness. The turning point. Elara stepped forward, her eyes filled with tears but her voice steady. "A kingdom built on the loneliness of its children is already dust," she said. Prince Julian knelt before the king, not as a suitor, but as a friend. He offered his own crown, promising that if the curse struck, he would give his kingdom to the displaced people of Solara and Lunaris. It was an act of pure, selfless love that the ancient curse had never accounted for. The breaking of the curse. As the bells rang for a double wedding, not for power, but for love, the ground began to shake. The unfortunate prophecy began to trigger. But Pip the fairy flew into the center of the storm, weaving a spell of resilience. She showed the princesses that their misfortune was actually a gift of empathy. Because they knew what it was to suffer, they would be the kindest rulers the world had ever seen. The magic of the moment. The cracks in the earth filled with golden flowers. The falling dust of the tower turned into butterfly wings. The curse broke because the princesses stopped viewing themselves as victims of fate and started seeing themselves as architects of their own future. The motivational core. The wedding was not just a union of hearts, but a reunion of family. The king and queen wept as they realized that their daughter's strength was greater than any ancient spell. The two princesses, once unfortunate brides, stood tall in their shimmering gowns. They had learned a vital lesson. Your circumstances do not define your value, and love, when shared with friends and family, can rewrite even the darkest destiny. They lived happily ever after, ruling with a kindness that ensured their kingdoms never felt the touch of misfortune again.